Welcome inside Lowell Park. They say it's one of the hidden gems in the Cape Cod Baseball League, and we're glad to be here at Lowell Park as the Harwich Mariners try to get back on track here after dropping 3 games in a row as they'll face their Western Division foes in the Katuitt Kettleers. I'm Thomas Winsor alongside my broadcasting partner, Austin Rooney. And before we get into this game, we'll talk a little about what happened back on Sunday, where the Mariners were defeated by the Wareham game by a final score of 7-6 in 10 innings. And Austin, what are your thoughts about Sunday's game?
Well, the Mariners looked like they were in control during that game. They appeared to be in the driver's seat, but everything sort of fell apart towards the end of that game. Caleb Freeman had just pitched the day before. He pitched 2 really good innings, and he came in and couldn't quite get the job done in the bottom of the 9th inning. It forced extras, and then the Mariners couldn't hold on in extra innings either as they fell 7-6. The hitting was there early. It wasn't really there later in the game. So, again, the Harwich Mariners, their bats were there at times. They're going to have their bats be just that much more consistent, and they just need a little bit more consistency from the pitching staff as well.
Mariners left 9 men on base, and all the runs came from the 6th inning and prior. No runs in the 7, 8, or 9, and early 10th inning as well. So the Mariners are so far 1-1 against the Kettleers. They won back here in June by a final score of 10-3, and then back on July 6th. The Kettleers, July 8th, the Kettleers came to Harwich, the White House Field, where the Kettleers defeated the Mariners by a final score of 4-1. So, again, kind of like similar to Wareham, 500 baseball against these opponents. And the pitching matchup tonight is Will Masson for the Harwich Mariners and Brian Bonin for the Katuitt Kettleers.
So starting with Bryce Bonin for the Katuitt Kettleers, he's made 1 appearance so far on Cape Cod. He pitched 2 1/3 innings of work, and he didn't allow an earned run. He allowed 1 unearned run, and he allowed 3 hits. He was okay during that appearance at Hyannis. He could have been a little bit better, but it was a fine appearance for his first time on Cape Cod. He played at Arkansas this past season, made a couple of appearances in Omaha, so he's played under the bright lights. We'll have to see how he can do tonight against this very talented Harwich Mariners lineup. And for the Harwich Mariners, in terms of Will Matheson, he's out of Stanford. He's going to you're going to see his cutter a lot tonight. His cutter is his go-to pitch. He's made a few appearances. This will be his 4th appearance on Cape Cod. He allowed 1 run versus Hyannis, 2 runs versus Chatham, 3 versus YD. His last time out versus YD, 5 2/3 innings, 3 earned runs. That doesn't really show how well he pitched. He was better than that. He was really 2 earned runs. He left 1 runner on first base with 2 outs in the 6th inning, and the run came around to score. He was charged with that run. So just a bit of an unfortunate turn of events. What ended up happening in the game, the Mariners ended up falling by a score of 5-4. But overall, I thought Matheson looked very good, and I thought he was one of the better pitchers the Mariners have had so far this year.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Matheson looked very good, and he looked very sharp in his last start against YD. You mentioned the numbers, and unfortunately, as you said before, the Mariners just couldn't quite get the win. It was the solo shot from Noah Campbell that made the difference late in the game. So we'll see if the Mariners can pick up a win here for Will Masson and for the team as well. Masson still searching for his first win on the mound. He's 0-1 in 3 starts, so he's making his 4th appearance. And as we go through each lineup, 2 players should we look out for on each side?
So for the Harwich Mariners, I think it's important to look to a couple of guys who've been in the top of the order for now quite some time. Tanner Morris has been the leadoff hitter on a number of occasions for the Harwich Mariners, and he's somebody to definitely look for this evening. He's has reached base in all but 1 game. He had a really strong game versus Wareham, in which he had a home run. And then middle of the order, Aaron Shunk's been playing quite well recently. But I think the big name to look for a little bit further down in the lineup in the 7th spot tonight, Nate Eichhoff. Eichhoff has hit almost 350 since he had the rough 0-for-28 start. He's looked really, really good since then, and he's red hot as of right now. So he's definitely someone to look for towards the bottom of the order.
I mentioned that Eichhoff, he had his first hit on the season right back here at Katuitt. Looks to continue that trend. So we'll step aside for the national anthem and the first pitch. Stay tuned, listen to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And welcome back inside Lowell Park from Katuitt, Massachusetts, as the Harwich Mariners will take on the Katuitt Kettleers for the third time this season, second time in Lowell Park. So their final time here. And before we get underway, we're going to first take a look around the diamond for the Kettleers on defense.
From left field to right field, Tolia, Ellis, Robertson, and third base is Smith. Shortstop Salvatore. Second base Wood. Dillard is at first. Behind the plate is Humphreys. He's doing the catching for Bryce Bonin.
Katuitt right now with a .969 defensive percentage, and it's fourth in the league. They have 34 errors, which is good for tie for third. So the Kettleers will take the field. The national anthem has been sung. Play ball has been set here, and it's another beautiful day on Cape Cod. I know back at Brewster when I left work to come here, it was a little cloudy, very windy, and right now the wind is blowing towards the left field. Temperature around 81 degrees for first pitch, as Bruce Bonin will take the mound for the Kettleers. The Kettleers right now are 1-3-1 in their last 5.
And the Harwich Mariners have fallen 3 in a row themselves. They're going to have to see if they can get back on the right track. Harwich Mariners, again, have some big bats in their lineup. Tanner Morris has been really consistent all year long. Aaron Shunk's been very good. Andre Lipsius. They've got some power at the bottom of that order, and they've got some guys who are coming alive. Brad Devo not in the lineup tonight, but he's looked really good recently. Logan Driscoll the same. Gabe Rivera has shown some power throughout the season. And then other guys like Nate Eichhoff are really hitting a hot streak right now.
Speaking about bats in the lineup, we'll go through the Mariners lineup right now. Leading things off is the shortstop Tanner Morris. Batting second is the center fielder out of Boston College, Chris Gallen. Batting third is Aaron Shunk, the designated hitter this evening. And the 4th spot is Andre Lipsius at first base. Batting 5th is Danny Casals, the second baseman. And the 6th hole is left fielder Matt Gorski. Batting 7th is the third baseman, Nate Eichhoff. Batting 8th is Gabe Rivera, the right fielder out of Miami. And right at the bottom is the catcher out of George Mason, Logan Driscoll. Mariners, of course, coached by Steve Engler. Over at third base, Coach Pascarosa. Coach Tipo over at first. So we're almost underway from Lowell Park as Tanner Morris will now come on to the circle just outside home plate. Take a practice sack and will dig his back foot into the left side. First pitch of Morris's runs outside for ball 1, and we're underway from Lowell Park.
As I mentioned earlier, Tanner Morris led off the game with a home run yesterday versus Wareham, or on Sunday, I beg your pardon.
1-0 pitch fastball. Just misses the lower part of the plate for ball 2. Lower part of the zone. 2-0 from Bonin to Morris. Once more misses low and outside for ball 3 on the leadoff hitter Tanner Morris. Morris this season is tied for first, the RBI leader for the Mariners with 17, as the 3-0 pitch is at the belt for strike 1. Morris was taken all the way there. Morris is tied for RBIs with Aaron Shunk, who's in the 3 spot, as 3-1 pitch misses low and inside, and as ball 4, Tanner Morris is on, the leadoff man here in the top half of the first inning.
In his first appearance, Bryce Bonin had just 1 walk, so we'll have to see how he does tonight, if he's going to be able to keep his control, or if things aren't going to go as well in terms of that control for him. Let's see how he's able to progress.
Now on the right side is Chris Gallen, as Bonin will check over on Morris at first. Diving back in safely at first is Morris.
He did have 12 walks in 19 innings at Arkansas this past season, which is a high walk rate. You don't want to be over a half a walk per inning.
First pitch of Chris Gallen, just a little tardy on that one, and puts it over the bleachers on the first base side for strike 1. Gallen so far against Katuitt is 5 for 10 with 3 runs and an RBI against these Kettleers, including a 4 for 5 performance right here back at Lowell Park. Bonin comes set, the 1-0 pitch to Gallen. This is down and in for ball 1. The count is 1-1. Gallen, of course, played most of these hitters. We're going to take BP at Fenway yesterday. That's his second time he played at Fenway. Of course, Boston College to play there earlier this year as the 1-1 pitch runs Upstairs for ball 2. Counts 2 balls and 1 strike on the speedy center fielder. Bonin comes set, looks over at Morris at first. He kicks and deals. The 2-1 pitch is a slow chopper down the third base side. Smith comes in, throw on a first is not in time as Gallen is in there at ease. And anything like that soft hit on the infield, Gallen will beat it out, and he just proved it right there as now the runners on first and second with no outs here in the top of the first. And the Mariners looking to strike first here in this game.
Yeah, there was no chance they were going to have a chance to get Gallen over at first base. It was a high chopper down the third base line. Smith came in, and by the time he got to that ball, Gallen was almost already at first base, and the throw was second late.
So the catcher, Humphreys, gives out a sign. As now Aaron Shunk, the DH this evening. We see him probably 95% of the time at third base. It's maybe the first time he's not playing third base this year for the Mariners. First pitch to Shunk is fouled off at the plate. It looks like he fouled it off himself for strike 1. And Bonin and Shunk, 2 foes from the SEC. Bonin hails out of Arkansas and Shunk out of Georgia. Of course, Georgia did not make it to Omaha, unfortunately, and of course Arkansas did, losing in the championship game to Oregon State. As the 0-1 pitch to Shunk, off-speed slider, is in there at the letters for strike 1, or strike 2, excuse me. Count no balls and 2 strikes on Shunk. He steps down for a second, will step back into the right-hander batter's box. Taps home plate twice. As the 0-2 pitch to Shunk bounces the dirt, good block by the catcher, Humphreys.
It's a nice slider down and out of the zone from Bonin, trying to get Shunk to bite, but Shunk pulls up.
So runners on first and second with nobody out here in the top of the first. After a leadoff walk to Morris, a infield single by Chris Gallen has gotten the Mariners to this point, and this is big if they can get across the run. The left 9 men on back in Wareham on Sunday as the 1-2 pitch is swung on and foul tipped into the mitt of the catcher Humphreys, and Shunk is retired for out number 1.
Yeah, Shunk was one of the hottest hitters for the Harwich Mariners entering the season. Over the past few games has cooled off just a bit.
So now with 1 out here, runners still on first and second here in the top of the first. And we've seen before when the Mariners are able to score first, it gives them a higher chance of winning. I think for anybody, any team in general in baseball, it's a very high percentage of scoring first as Andre Lipsius swing on a first pitch is rolled over towards the Kettleers dugout area for strike 1.
Well, clearly sets you up nicely in the game, gives your pitcher some confidence. Playing with the lead is always better than playing from behind.
It's bigger for a team that relies a lot on their pitching so far this year. Second in the league in ERA. They were first for most of this season, but Falmouth has jumped them to number 1.
Falmouth, the team that's coming on really hot right now.
1 pitch runs up above the letters for ball 1, and count evens back up at 1 ball and 1 strike. And Falmouth will come back to White House Field this week, and the Mariners have found success against the Commodores. 3-0 this season, including a sweep of the doubleheader in Falmouth. As the 1-1 pitch, Lipsius slider bounces in the dirt. Another good block by the catcher Humphreys for ball 2.
Yeah, Commodores started off the season 2-8, and since then they are 13-6-1. This is one of the best teams in Cape Cod right now.
I know that I believe there is a prospect list, I think from Baseball America, coming from the Cape League, and a lot of those guys were from Falmouth as the 2-1 slider is at the letters for strike 2. Count is 2 balls and 2 strikes, and Logan Davidson being one of those guys, of course, the shortstop out of Clemson. Some say probably the best prospect in the ACC coming into next season in 2019. It's a 2-2 pitch. Lipsius swung on and high in the air towards left center field gap. And diving is the left fielder, Tolley, unable to make the catch as it rolls down to the wall. Morris coming around third will score as Pascarosa holds Galland over at third. So that is a 1-out RBI double for Andre Lipsius as the Mariners strike first here in the top of the first.
It's a good piece of hitting off the bat of Andre Lipsius towards left center field. And you mentioned Tolia diving, trying to make the play, and he couldn't come up with it. And the Mariners strike first. You're mentioning earlier in the inning, can they strike first? Can they give the lead to their pitcher, Will Matheson? Well, they have done that, and they still have an opportunity to add on to that lead. 2 runners in scoring position with just 1 out.
First pitch to Casales, swung on and lifted high in the air, out of play towards the right side for strike 1.
And the infield is in.
Of course,
everybody in on the grass trying to prevent that second run from coming home.
Of course, that's what happened last time. The Mariners will strike quick and early, and they scored plenty of runs to really put the game out of reach early on. They don't want that to happen this time around as the 0-1 pitch is swung on and chopped foul down the third base side for strike 2. Count is no balls and 2 strikes on the second baseman, Danny Casales. Similar play what happened last time here at Lowell Park, where a ball was in the gap in left center field, and left fielder or center field, I forgot which one it was, tried to make a diving grab, and the ball rolled to the wall. 0-2 pitch to Casales is swung on and laced out towards left center field gap, and it will drop in for a base hit in the gap as a center fielder Ellis picks it up. Will throw it back in. Casales will slide him towards second base, and 2 runs come across as Gallen and Ellipsius are able to come around from second and third, and just like that, the Mariners score 3 runs here in the top of the first, lead the Cotuit Killers by a score of 3-0.
Well, the doubles party continues for Danny Casales. He leads the league in doubles coming in. He had 10, was the only player in double digits. Well, now he's extended that. That was his 11th double on the season. And he continues to produce in that category. The only other player who is has anything over 8 is Fitzgerald from Bourne. So he's up to his lead in the doubles department to 2 doubles. It's 11 for him, 9 for the second place person. But more importantly, he drives in 2 runs with the base hit. Mariners on top by 3.
First pitch to Matt Gorsey misses low and away as the slider off the end of the bat over towards the right side towards Woodwood picks it up and throw it on the first. And Gorsey is retired for out number 2, but able advancing towards third is Danny Casales. So Casales beyond third with 2 outs here at the top of the first. 3-0 Mariners lead over the Cotuit Kettleers as the Mariners actually lead the league in doubles, and Casales one of the main contributors. Over almost a 5th of the doubles as the first pitch is to Nykoff. He swings at it and lifts it high in the air towards left field. The Tolia moves in a step and able to make the grab for out number 3, but the Harwich Mariners put up a 3 spot here in the top of the first on 5 hits as they lead the Cotuit Killers 3-0 after they tap the first. Listen to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And welcome back inside Lowell Park for the home half of the first inning. Mariners strike early in first with 3 runs at the top of the first, and on the mound for the Mariners is Will Matheson, the 2A player out of Stanford. But before we get into that, we'll go around the diamond for the Harwich Mariners.
Playing left field is Matt Gorski. In center is Chris Gallen. In right field, Gabe Rivera. At third base is Nate Eichhoff. Shortstop, Tanner Morris. Second base is Danny Casales. First base, Andre Lipsius. Behind the plate and doing the catching is Logan Driscoll for the pitcher, Will Matheson.
So leading things off for the Kettleers is the right fielder, Will Robertson, batting second. His left fielder, Michael Tolia. In the 3 spot is the power-hitting first baseman, Thomas Dillard out of Old Miss. In the cleanup spot this evening is Corey Wood, the second baseman. Batting 5th is Garrett Woolforth, the DH this evening. Batting 6th is Duke Ellis, the center fielder. Batting 7th is Brady Smith, the third baseman. Batting 8th is the shortstop, Michael Salvatore. And riding out the bottom is the catcher, Zach Humphreys. So Will Robertson will dig that back foot hard into the left side. He faces the right-hander Will Masson. First pitch of Robertson is swung on, lifted shallow over towards left field. Coming in is Gorski, and he'll be able to make the catch in fair territory for out number 1. So 1 pitch, 1 out for Matheson so far.
It's a nice way to start your ball game and get a quick out like that. Pitcher is always hoping to get those early outs and keep their pitch count low. He did a nice job of that last time versus YD. He does a nice job to start things off tonight.
So now stepping into the left side, it is Michael Tolia, the left fielder this inning. Played first base the last time these two teams played at White House, and the first pitch is at the maroon belt level for strike 1.
He's just 1 for his last 13, but he has done damage against Harwich. He's 2 for 8 with a home run in the 2 games this season.
As the 0-1 pitch is on the outside corner for strike 2. Quickly in the hole now is Tolia. No balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 pitch from Masson. Swung on hard on the ground between the hole between first and second. Lipsius lays out. The second baseman Casals throws from the knees. As now advancing towards second is Tolia, and Driscoll, well, he was not able to throw it down to second, so Lipsius was able to lay out towards his right side, and then Casals, the bounce of Casals, who threw from his bottom over towards first, but it went wide, and advancing towards second is Tolia now.
Well, yeah, just a very interesting turn of events right there. It's a sharp line drive over towards first base. As you mentioned, Lipsius lays out, tries to make the play to flex over to Casals, who throws wide of Matheson. And then right at that point, Tolia tries to advance to second base, and Driscoll's got a shot to try to get him over at second, but he was unable to field the ball cleanly when he picked it up.
As the first pitch is swung on to Dillard, line on a hop over towards the right fielder Rivera. He'll throw it in very quickly as Lipsius tries to cut it off and able to stop it enough as it rolls to Driscoll. So Dillard, first pitch he sees, he ropes out to the right side, and now the runners on the corners with 1 out here in the bottom of the first. And Kettler is trying to put up a few runs to match the Mariners here in the bottom half.
Really strong piece of hitting off the bat of Thomas Dillard as he rips that ball into right field. And Rivera does a nice job getting that ball in. He's got a really strong arm out there in right, and he forces Tolia to hold up at third base.
First pitch to the second baseman, Corey Wood, runs inside for ball 1. Wood hitting .206 on this season, does have a long ball and 3 runs driven in for the second baseman out of Coastal Carolina. The 1-0 pitch is swung on, lifted up in the air high towards shallow left field as making the catch is Gorski, and staying over at third base is Tolia, so unable to tag there as now there are 2 outs here with runners on the corners. And if you're Matheson, you're happy about that outcome there as he was able to record it out, and the runners were not able to advance, especially Tolia off of third base.
Yeah, it's a big out, and it's now to shallow left field. Matt Gorski made the catch, and Tolia took about 2 steps, and he wasn't going anywhere. It was not nearly deep enough, as it would have been an easy throw from Gorski to the plate, and Tolia likely would have been out.
So the runners on the corners and 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. 3-0 Mariners lead as the first pitch of Wolforth is fouled off over towards the third base bleachers for strike 1. Matheson looking to get out of a jam here with runners on the corners. Wolforth has now recorded an at-bat this season in his Cape League debut as the over-the-top curveball just misses for ball 1. The count is 1 ball and 1 strike on Wolforth. Matheson looks over Dillard at first. Comes set from the belt. Righty-lefty matchup. The 1-1 pitch is spot at the knees, but just misses a little low for ball 2. So count is 2 balls and 1 strike now on the DH.
It's just the 3rd time these 2 teams have met this season. They'll face off for the 4th and final time tomorrow back at White House Field.
2-1 pitch to Wolforth is grounded hard on the foul off the fence in front of the Mariners dugout for strike two. Count is 2 balls and 2 strikes on Wolforth.
And this is actually the last road game in the Western Division the Mariners will have this season. They play a couple of other Western Division teams, but last time they'll play them on the road specifically.
We gotta actually go out to Bourne.
Oh, that's the second last one.
Second to last, yeah. That's a 2-2 pitch to Wolforth. Is cut on and missed. A fastball up in the zone, spot at 92 miles an hour. As Wolforth goes down on strikes, and the Kettleers leave 2 men on, especially one in scoring position. So after one is the Harwich Mariners 3, the Kettleers nothing. Listen to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And welcome back inside Lowell Park for the top half of the second inning. For those of you just joining us, I'm Thomas Inzarello alongside my broadcasting partner, Austin Rooney. And you missed 3 runs if you weren't here in the first inning, as the Mariners put up a 3 spot on the board with 3 runs in the first. As the first pitch to Gabe Rivera runs inside for ball 1.
Yeah, it all started off with a walk from Tanner Morris, followed by a single down the third base line from Galland. Shunk struck out, but then a double from Lipsius. That scored a run. Then a 2 RBI double off the bat of Danny Casals.
So 1-0 pitch is swung on and missed by Rivera. Rivera yesterday had 5 home runs over towards the left field side on the Green Monster. One went over the Green Monster completely. As the 1-1 pitch to Rivera swung on and hit high in the air out towards right field. Going back is Robertson. He tracks the ball all the way just in front of the warning track for out number 1. So Rivera gets a good piece of wood on that one. Just didn't get all of that one to the opposite way for out number 1.
It's awfully hard for someone, especially at this age, to hit the ball out opposite field. It was a well-hit ball off the bat of Gabe Rivera, but just not quite enough to go all the way out in the opposite field.
So now with 1 out here, in the top of the second, 3-0 Mariners lead is the catcher Logan Driscoll, who takes the first pitch down below the knees for ball 1. Driscoll against the Kettleers this season, 1 for 5 with 2 RBIs. As the 1-0 pitch is lined over towards the second baseman, right at the second baseman, Corey Wood, as he moves to his right 2 steps and makes the grab up in the air. It's tough for Logan Driscoll when you put a good piece of wood on that one and just right at the outfielder or an infielder, and all you can tell yourself is, man, I cut all of that one, but.
And while you're not going to get credit for a base hit, it's going to at least feel good. You're hitting the ball well. You're making really good contact.
First
just
pitch.
A little bit unlucky for the 9-hitter, Logan Driscoll.
So coming back around to the top of the order now, first pitch to Tanner Morris is in there for strike 1, as a 1 pitch from Bonin bounces in for ball 1. Count is 1 ball and 1 strike now. Morris started the game off with a walk and then came around to score on the Andre Lipsius RBI double. 1 from Bonin. Chopped at the plate and off Morris for strike 2. Count is 1 ball and 2 strikes on Morris. Looking to extend this Mariners lead from 3-0 to more if he can get on here with 2 outs, though, in the top of the second. Bonnet from the windup. The 1-2 cut on and missed. A defensive swing by Morris as the slider was able to tie him up. And just like that, a 1-2-3 inning worked by the Kettleers as they head back to bat here in the bottom, heading to the bottom of the second inning. 3-0 Mariners lead, though. We listen to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And we'll go back inside Lowell Park for the bottom half of the second inning. What's been an eventful first inning, 3-0 lead taken by the Mariners. The first pitch to Duke Ellis is swung on and lifted out towards right field, right at the right fielder, Gabe Rivera. So these Kettleers hitters so far have been jumping on the first or second pitch. Now we're seeing a lot of pitches, just trying to be aggressive at the plate. And so far, it's been tilted toward Matheson's way as the Kettleers trail 3-0.
Yeah, and it's taken just 13 pitches to get 4 outs for Will Matheson. It's pretty good in terms of how is his pitch count. He's keeping it down, very efficient so far. You don't need the strikeouts. They're a nice plus, but if you're getting outs other ways, they'll take it for sure.
First pitch, the number 7 holder, third baseman Smith, just misses a hair above the letters for ball 1. 1-0 pitch from Matheson, his spot on the outside edge, but just misses the black part of the plate for ball 2. Count is 2 balls and no strikes on the third baseman out of Florida.
Yeah, it's just one of those cutters, cut just away on the right-handed hitter.
2-0 pitch is a check swing down the first base line and just kicks foul to hit the grass. As he'll head back to the plate, walks back. Count is 2 balls and 1 strike, and Smith has a little bit of catching up to do. His teammate Austin Langworthy back in Florida for the Commodores. Langworthy hitting a couple long balls this week.
Smith has the best average on the team, though, at 375.
Of course, Florida came a little bit late as the 2-1 pitch. Fastball is on the inside half at the bottom of the zone for a strike 2. Smith in dismay. Of course, Florida came a little bit late as tied up. College World Series, a 2-2 pitch. Outside corner, strike 3. And Smith goes down looking. As that is now strikeout number 2 for Will Matheson here with the 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. 3-0 Mariners lead. Kettleers so far only have 2 hits, all both coming in the first inning. First pitch is on the outside half of the plate for strike 1 to the shortstop, Michael Salvatore. 1 pitch of Masson. Looks like a cutter that time. Runs off the plate for ball 1. Counting it's back up at 1 ball and 1 strike. And Langworthy has 5 home runs this year and 55 at-bats for the Commodores as the 1-1 pitch misses upstairs for ball 2. Curveball just didn't come down enough. So Langworthy will be in Harwich this week as the Mariners will take on the Commodores. 2-1 pitch to Salvatore's on the outside corner for strike 2. Going back to the off-speed curveball there. He's now 2 balls and 2 strikes is the count. Matheson gets his side for the catcher. Driscoll kicks and fires. 2-2 pitches reached over and lined into center field for a base hit. As Salvatore, nice 2-strike approach there and shortens up the swing and just lifts one out towards center field for a base hit.
Yeah, doesn't get the best piece of wood on that ball, but it's enough to get a nice bloop hit into center field. Okay, you mentioned a defensive swing. It's a pitch that's a little bit low, maybe outside the zone.
So now at 2 outs. Salvatore is over on the first, and Zach Humphreys, the catcher, who just mentioned on the PA, was one of the All-Stars for the Western Division. We'll head to White House Field on Sunday. Madison working from the stretch. First pitch. Fastball's located right at the knees at the bottom zone for strike 1. Humphreys only has 4 at-bats versus the Mariners this season. He's 1 for 4 with an RBI. And on the season, it's batting .259 for the catcher out of TCU. 0-1 pitch to Madison. Off-speed pitch on the outside half again for strike 2. He's really locating the pitch very well. Starts down the middle and it's kind of like a slider, or maybe it's the cutter, I think is what it is. So count has no balls in, 2 strikes. Madison peeks over the runner. Salvatore at first. Takes a deep breath. The 0-2 pitch runs well off the plate for ball 1. Count has 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Missed him what looked like a slider there, tried to get Humphreys swinging. But it was low and outside, and Humphreys recognized that and was able to lay off.
So Madison trying to get Humphreys to chase. Did not bite the first time. Let's see what they go with here next. Is the 1-2 curveball is Scott out towards left center field. Gorski moving back to his left and makes the catch on the run as that ball is looking for the alley out in left center field. But Gorski able to chase it down. So nothing going for the Cavaliers here in the second inning as the Mariners stole a 3-0 lead over the Cats. After 2, listen to Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And we'll go back inside Lowell Park for the away half of the third inning. 2-3-4 hitters set to do work for the Mariners. Leading off is the center fielder Chris Scout. First pitch fastball from Bonin is on the bottom part of the zone for strike 1. So far, 3 runs in the top of the first by the Mariners has set them apart here on 3 hits. 0-1 pitch is spiked just behind the plate. As nice stop at the catcher Humphreys for ball 1. Count has 1 ball and 1 strike. Bonin fires a off-speed pitch, just misses up and in for ball 2. Count is 2 balls and 1 strike on Gallant. Gallen singled in the first and came all around to score as the 2-1 pitch is lined down the left field line for a base hit fair. One hops the wall. Gallen rounds first and will head towards second, and he's in there easily with a stand-up leadoff double here in the top of the third for the Harwich Mariners.
Well, you mentioned earlier in the broadcast that the Harwich Mariners lead the league in doubles. He's third on the team in doubles. That makes him, was his 7th double of the season. As number 1 on the team, Danny Casals, he's got 11. Second is Morris with 8. And now third is Galland with 7.
This is also a Katua pitching staff that has yielded the second most hits in the league as the first pitch to Aaron Shunk runs inside for ball 1. Shunk looking to change his fortunes here. He struck out on the first inning, has a duck in the pond out there on second base, and Chris Galland. 1-0 pitch to Shunk is swung on a slow chopper towards the third baseman. Smith fields up, throws across the diamond front. Number 1 and Galland advancing towards third base, and he is in time, able to stay intact with the base, and Galland might have gotten the wind knocked out of him. He's still on the ground. That was a hard slide into third base.
And now the trainer coming out to deal with Galland, who remains on the ground. Have to hope he's just fine over there at third base. It was a gutsy decision, and now Coach Steve Engler also comes out to have a word with him, and it looks like it's his left arm possibly.
It happens when you're sliding in head first. You know, I see a lot of those guys with the, mostly the fingers usually break very often. Sliding into a base, a lot of the guys wear the finger guards. They'll have it all around their fingers, and a lot of base stealers will have those. So when you slide it first, because you can get your arm caught, and then your shoulder or something else can hurt too. And Galland almost slid past the base, and that's why the umpire.
It was a very aggressive slide. He was on second base, and he's going to be exiting tonight's game.
That's tough luck for the Mariners so far. He's 2 for 2 at the plate with a single and a double. Let's see who will come on and pinch run. So they'll be right on third base with 1 out after Shunk ran out towards Smith over at third, but Cal was able to advance towards third. So Mariners have a guy in scoring position as a single or a sac fly could score him. Whoever that may be, I'm guessing it could be Ben Norman, might take his spot.
And it is Ben Norman, you're exactly right.
So Ben Norman will head towards third base now as he will come in for the departed Chris Galland. So Norman's off a third with 1 out here in the top of the third. 3-0 Mariners lead over the Cotuit Kettleers. Some rain clouds out in center field, left center field, and center field as well as the first pitch. Lipsius is slicing down the line for a base hit. It will drop in towards the corner again. Tolia plays a little wobble out there in left field, and Lipsius is able to cruise into second base with a 1-out double, and that is now his second RBI on this evening, as now the lead is 4-0 over the Kettleers.
Well, yet another 2-bag base hit, this time off the bat of Andre Lipsius, who rips that ball down the left field line, and easily coming in to score is Ben Norman. And yet another double, this time Andre Lipsius, who is hitting the ball very well right now. It's back-to-back doubles for the right-handed hitter. And 1 back in the first inning, has another right here.
So Danny Casals will head back to the right side. He takes a first pitch slider off the plate for ball 1. Casals also doubled back in the first and plated 2 runs. Looking to do the same here as the 1-0 pitch is swung on and a bloop hit out towards center field. Lipsius watching all the way in, but coming in as a center fielder Ellis to make the catch for out number 2. So Casals looks like he got jammed on that one on the hands. It just pops one out towards center field, and Ellis is able to make the grab out there. So now 2 outs in the inning here at the top of the third. 4-0 Mariners lead over the Kettleers. They have 5 hits so far to their name, and now it is the left fielder Matt Gorski out of Indiana. Bonin, first pitch fastball runs inside as Gorski backs off the inside part of the plate for ball 1.
And Gorski hitting the ball very, very well right now. Has an 8-game hitting streak going.
Gorski pulling over the monster yesterday out in left field as well. One of those other guys. As the 1-0 pitch curveball swung on and missed by Gorski. Nice looking curveball from the right-hander, Bonin.
And his average has gone from 206 all the way up to 283 during this hit streak.
So 1 ball, 1 strike is the count on Gorski. Lipsius stands off a second. Bonin looks back at Lipsius at second. And will fire toward Soma as a 1-1 fastball spot at 92 miles an hour is cut on and missed by Gorski. So
yeah, and Bonin has been in that low 90s, maybe hit 93 once or twice, but generally 90 to 92 range tonight.
1 ball, 2 strikes is the count on Gorski. Ready matchup. The 1-2 pitch is swung on and hit hard on the ground towards the first baseman. Diller dives but can't get it. Raving around third is past Grossa, and Lipsius will cruise into home plate as the right fielder Robinson had some trouble filling the ball out there. So that's an RBI single for Matt Gorski as the Mariners now lead the Killers by a score of 5-0 here in the top of the 3rd inning.
Yeah, another base hit for the Harwich Mariners. They built themselves a comfortable cushion over the Kettleers with 5 runs in the first 3 innings. And Matt Gorski does well to extend his hit streak to 9 games. As he just hits a nice ground ball through the hole on the right side.
So Nate Eichhoff now from the left side swings at the first pitch and fouls it back into the backstop for strike 1. Eichhoff flew out to left field his first time around. And he has some fond memories of this field. Picked up his first Cape League hit on the season right back here. A line drive broken bat up the middle.
Matt Gorski now has the 3rd highest batting average of active Mariners hitters. First, Tanner Morris at 333. Second, Andre Lipsius at 306. And then Gorski has jumped into the 3 spot at 290.
As the 1-0 pitch is swung on and missed by Eichhoff. And now assistant coach Jerry Weinstein comes out and check on the pitcher. Bonin, not exactly sure. Looks like going to the bullpen for a left-hander, so.
It's been a rough go so far for the starting pitcher, Bryce Bonin. 2 2/3 innings of work. He's now allowed 5 earned runs, and he is still responsible for the runner left on second base. Or beg your pardon, first base with Matt Gorski.
So we'll see if Bonin exits the game, and he will with the trainer, so. Hope everything's okay with him. He might have felt something, and Weinstein could have noticed something from the mound as well. So left-hander will be coming in for the Kettleers. We'll step aside to sort out all the details here in the top of the 3rd. And welcome back inside Lowell Park here in the top of the 3rd with 2 outs. Runner on first base, and the new pitcher in is the left-hander, the southpaw out of Princeton. It is Ryan Smith. native Garden City, New York. So far with a 1-0 record, a 2.61 ERA in 10 games, so making his 11th appearance, which would be tied for the most on this team with Stephen Schock out of UMBC.
And Ryan Smith has had a lot of trouble with the walks this season, 11 walks in just 10 1/3 innings of work. He has struck out 11 as well, but again, the control has been his major issue. He's only allowed 6 hits in those 10 1/3 innings, so he's not allowed a lot of guys to get good contact, but instead he just has had trouble finding that zone.
So come on to face Ned Eichhoff. Count is no balls and 2 strikes on Eichhoff. 5-0 game right now in favor of the Mariners over the Kettleers, and they're able to scratch 3 in the first and then 2 more here in the third on RBI double from Andre Lipsius. He picks up his second ribby on the day, and then a Matt Gorski RBI single to the right side of the infield here, just the last batter. So Gorski's off at first here with 2 outs in the third. 5 runs on 6 hits and 1 error for the Mariners so far. No runs on 3 hits and no errors for the Kettleers. So look to try to halt this Mariners barrage right now. It seems like just like last time, every time we come to Lowell Park, the bats come awake. Last time these two teams faced each other at Lowell Park, it was a 10-3 win in favor of the Mariners. They scored 10 runs on 14 hits, which is the second most hits they've had this season. The most was 17 back in Orleans, in which Danny Casals was able to get the go-ahead 2-run home run, as Smith will throw on the first base to check on Gorski. So that's how he'll start off his afternoon here in the game. Lefty-lefty matchup, 0-2 count on Eichhoff. The 0-2 pitch. Off-speed pitch bounces in the dirt for ball 1 on Eichhoff.
Well, it's been a lot of extra base hits for the Harwich Mariners this evening. 4 extra base hits. There's 2 from Lipsius, 1 from Galland, and then another one from Danny Casals. And that's where most of the runs have been generated.
0-2 pitch cut on and missed by Eichhoff. He goes down swinging. It looks like a slider. Drop third strike, and Humphreys will tag him out to end the top of the third inning. But after 2.5, the Mariners will get 2 more across here as now lead the Killers by a score of 5-0. Listen to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And we'll go back inside Lowell Park for the bottom half of the third inning, in which the Mariners lead this game by a score of 5-0 over the Kettleers. And starting things off is the number 1, 2, 3 hitters for the Killers, and is Will Robertson, the right fielder, stepping in from the left side, facing the right-handed pitcher Masson. First pitch runs low and outside for ball 1. Robertson so far is 0 for 1. He flew out back in the first to left field on the first pitch he saw. 1-0 pitch once more. Just misses the inside of the plate for ball 2. Count is 2-0 on Robertson. Masson from the windup, 2-0 pitch. Masson misses down the zone for ball 3. 3-0 is the count on Robertson.
Well, we've seen this a few times when pitchers have had long layoffs. This is yet another example of that. So far, we haven't seen much of an effect, but this time around, 3 consecutive balls to Robertson.
As Masson comes back with a fastball strike on the outside corner for strike 1. 3-1 is the count Run pitches in there at the knees for strike two on the outside half. So Matheson really mounting a comeback here against leadoff hitter Robertson after being behind 3 balls and no strikes. Comes back with 2 fastballs. As now the payoff pitch is swung on a line out towards the right center field gap. It will drop in for a base hit. Ginoli entered. Ben Norman will pick it up and throw it back into second base. But the Cavaliers have leadoff hitter on here in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
It's a good piece of hitting off the bat of Robertson. He rips that ball into right center field. By the time that Norman's able to get over there, though, Robertson's held up to a single as he got over to the ball pretty quickly.
So now with 1 man on and nobody out here in the bottom of the 3rd, it is the left fielder Michael Tolia, who does have some pop to his bat. 3 home runs on the season, including one coming right back at White House Field on July 8th as the first pitch to Tolia. This is low and outside for ball 1. Tolia reached on an error after a line shot in the hole between first and second. Lipsius laid out, kick to Casals, who tried to throw it from his bottom on the ground, but just went past the pitcher Masson, who was over at first base. 1-0 pitch to Tolia is on the outside corner for strike 1. It comes back up at 1 ball and 1 strike on the left-hander.
Tolia came into that bat really struggling, just 1 for his last 13 at the plate, but he starts off the evening well with a base hit.
1-1 pitch is swung on and lifted out of play. Out over towards the 3rd base side, count as 1 ball and 2 strikes. Robertson off of first. A 1-2 pitch to Tolia. This is low and outside for ball 2. Count is now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Matheson so far has not yielded a walk. It has 2 punch outs to his name, and count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cavaliers do have 4 hits on this evening. Just haven't really been collecting them together as a 2-2 pitch is foul tipped in the middle of Driscoll. He is able to hold on, and that is a big strikeout for Matheson. As now there is 1 out here in the bottom of the 3rd, 5-0 Mariners lead as Matheson picks up his 3rd strikeout of the evening so far in the 3rd inning, and 2 of them have been swinging as well.
Thomas Dillard, who steps in, he's got quite an interesting situation this season. He's got a 9-game hit streak going, which he extended to 10 games today. And in each of the previous 9 games, he has gotten exactly 1 hit, not 2, not 3, not 0, exactly 1 for each game of this 9-game hit streak. He's got his 1 hit today, so does that mean that he's done for the night?
We'll have to see. It's whatever the bat does as the first pitch misses off the plate for ball 1. 1-0 pitch to Dillard is swung on and Scott out towards center field. And Norman moving back has some room out there in center field. Will make the catch as the throw runs just up the line towards first base a bit, but cut off is Lipsius. So that's out number 2 here in the bottom of the 3rd inning as Dillard has retired. Did, of course, out of the NCC and Ole Miss, compete in the home run derby contest, so has a lot of power in that bat, but he's retired for round number 2. So with 2 outs is the second baseman Corey Wood out of Coastal Carolina. So still Robertson on first base after his leadoff single. However, a strikeout and a flyout has gone Matheson to this point as the first pitch to Wood is on the outside corner for strike 1. Wood flew out in the first. That's the bat on the shoulder from the left side. Picks up the bat now as the 0-1 is swung on and line out to straightaway center field is on a 2-hop over to Norman. I'll throw it back in quickly. So now the Cavaliers have a runner in scoring position with 2 outs after the single from Corey Wood. Runners on first and second. As the Cavaliers look to try to put 1 across here, they trail 5-0, in which the hit column is almost even at 6-5 in favor of the Mariners.
Yeah, the Cotuit Cavaliers are getting base hits. It was a line drive right up the middle off the bat of Wood. And again, the Cavaliers are getting hits. They're just not stringing them together the way the Mariners were, and they're not extra base hits either. Have not seen a single extra base hit from the Cotuit Cavaliers this evening. For the Harwich Mariners, there are 4.
First pitch to the DH this evening, Wolforth. Runs just a bit outside for ball 1. Wolforth out of Dallas Baptist.
Making his first appearance tonight.
Dallas Baptist, another good baseball school, as the 1-0 pitch misses in the dirt, and dancing behind home plate is Driscoll to block that one. Count as 2 balls and no strikes. We have Ryan Goins for the Toronto Blue Jays, the second baseman. Dallas Baptist. Righty-lefty matchup. The 2-0 pitch to Woolforth is hammered out towards right field. Looking back is Rivera, but it is foul as Woolforth got a good piece of wood on that one, but just turned his hips through a bit too early. So have to head back towards home plate. As the count is now 2 balls and 1 strike.
Well, he had the distance for a home run there. He ripped that ball down the right field line. And from our vantage point, it looked like it was going to get out of here, but just turned foul at the last moment. As Rivera just turned and watched it, and luckily for his sake, it went foul.
So 2 balls, 1 strike is the count. Masson kicks and deals. Curveball comes right down to the belt level, but it just came in a little bit too high, so count is now 3 balls and 1 strike on the DH. So Ryan Goins is one of the alumni from Dallas Baptist. Also is Ben Zober, is probably more well known. Second baseman for the Cubs. Played for the Rays system for a while. The 3-1 pitch is popped up and out of play over the third base bleachers for strike 2 on Woolforth.
Will Matheson has now thrown 47 pitches on the evening, more than 20 of which have occurred in this inning alone.
We saw in the first inning, the Cavaliers hitters really swinging the first pitch, first couple pitches, really being aggressive, but now taking a couple more pitches, seeing Masson's whole arsenal as the count is 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs, so the runners will be going. The 3-2 pitch is cut on and missed, and Woolforth is retired with the strikeout as the Cavaliers leave 2 more on here in the home half of third. Runners on first and second, and Woolforth strikes out. So after 3, the Mariners still hold a 5-0 lead over the Cavaliers. Listen to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
Welcome back inside Lowell Park. Top half of the 4th inning. The Harwich Mariners lead this game 5-0. Austin Rooney alongside my broadcasting partner Thomas Inzarella. First pitch to Gabe Rivera is swung on, a line drive into right center field. It's a base hit over the head of Robertson. Rounding first and heading into second base is Gabe Rivera. He has a stand-up double to lead things off in the top of the 4th. So yet another extra base hit for the Harwich Mariners. It's double number 5 of the evening. As the catcher and 9-hitter Logan Driscoll set to dig in from the left side. Mariners scored 3 runs in the top of the 1st, followed it up with 2 more in the top of the 3rd. Leading this game 5-0. The first pitch from Smith misses wildly upstairs, and the count 1-0. Driscoll had a very hard line out his first time up. That was back in the second inning. It looked like it was tailor-made for a base hit, but it was right at the second baseman as the 1-0 pitch is swung on and fouled off over the Katua dugout, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Lefty-lefty matchup with the pitcher Smith, who's a southpaw, and the catcher Logan Driscoll, who bats from the left side, of course, throws right-handed as a catcher, as the 1-1 pitch is a breaking ball that clips the lower and outside part of the plate for a strike. Driscoll was not a huge fan of that call, but it's in the zone nonetheless. Runner on second, no outs. Top of the fourth inning, a 5-0 Mariners lead. The 1-2 pitch misses upstairs, and the count 2-2. Gabe Rivera, who showed off his power last night, had a hit earlier in the inning. It was a double. The 2-2 pitch swung on, a ground ball over towards shortstop. The shortstop's going to throw to third and get the lead out. Nice play by Salvatore on the backhand, tossing the ball over towards the third baseman, Smith, who tags out Gabe Rivera, who was headed over towards third base. Really heads-up play as it goes down as a fielder's choice for Logan Driscoll. Back to the leadoff spot, Tanner Morris. First pitch swung on, a line drive into right field. And he slides and makes the catch. Nice play by Robertson out there in right field to make the catch for the first out of the inning.
Well, especially, they got to kind of lay out and make some catches out here. We saw left fielder Toy trying to make one earlier, especially we're down 5-0. Trying to make a couple defensive plays. Looks like Coach Enger is running out now. Maybe to say if the ball was trapped, maybe.
It was a tough view from our angle down the right field line. It's very clustered over here from our view. We have the runner, a batter in the on-deck circle. We have the first baseman, second baseman, and our view was very difficult down this chain-linked fence. But from what I could see, it almost looked like the ball bounced, but again, I did not have a great angle, to be honest.
So we'll see what the umpire's looking. They're going to talk it over. So this is interesting, and you know what could happen here.
So I know that from the College World Series, if there is a question as to whether a ball is fair or foul, they will place the runners in a conservative estimate if the call is overturned. And I think a conservative estimate here would just be putting runners on first and second if they deemed the ball would be trapped.
And they say he is out, so they do confirm it, but and we're at least taking the walk out there, make sure that everyone agrees on the call. And it was awfully quick, so it seems like everybody did think it was caught.
So now it's a two-hitter. Ben Norman, who steps into the left-hander's batter's box. First pitch is a fastball that misses low, and the count 1-0. Runner on first base. That's the catcher, Logan Driscoll. 5-0 Harwich Mariners lead in the top of the fourth. The 1-0 pitch. Fastball again misses low, and the count 2-0.
Norman, of course, came in for Chris Gallen after Gallen slid into third base. Looked like he hurt his shoulder or something up there in the left arm.
2-0 pitch is swung on and fouled off out of play behind home plate, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Logan Driscoll, one of the faster catchers on Cape Cod. Catchers are not generally known for their speed, but he definitely has some. The 2-1 pitch, fastball swung on and missed. And the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes on Ben Norman.
Yeah, Driscoll's got some nice speed. It's a nice asset to have as well. You don't see that a lot anymore where catchers do have speed in the MLB. Guy that runs well.
Tossing back over to first and diving back in safely is Driscoll. Inning started off with the leadoff double to right field from Gabe Rivera. A nice play by the shortstop Salvatore to get the lead out on a fielder's choice. 2-2 pitch swung on, a ground ball through the left side for a base hit. Mariners go station to station as Norman reaches with a base hit. So runners on first and second with 2 outs in the top half of the 4th inning.
A nice job by Norman. Pitch on the outer half. The plate goes with the pitch and just puts it in the hole between third and short. As now the Mariners could get another one here in the 4th inning with Driscoll over at second base and 2 outs. He'll be running on contact, so anything that is hit to the outfield, he'll be running.
Driscoll off second, Norman off first, 2 outs. First pitch, a Shunk swung on, a line drive up the middle for a base hit. Rounding third is Driscoll. He'll score. Throwback to second is not in time as Norman took a long round off of second base. And there was a throw in from center field from Duke Ellis, but he dives back in safely. And with the run crossing home plate, the Mariners now jump on top 6-0.
That would be interesting there if, let's say, Norman was out at second, because I don't know if the run would have counted there, because I don't think Driscoll was across the plate. So that's big for Norman to, Norman to get back into second base.
I think he was. I saw the run cross, and then I saw the play over at second. The first pitch to Lipsius is now swung on, a line drive into right field for another base hit. Rounding third is Norman. He'll score. Runners on the corners with 2 outs and a 7-0 Harwich Mariners lead. The hit parade continues from Lowell Park.
Not only the hit parade, but it's the Andre Lipsius RBI parade as well, as it is now his 3rd RBI and his 3rd plate appearance as well. He now is 3 for 3 with 2 doubles and a single. So he accounts for 3 of the 10 hits this evening for the Mariners, and then 3 of the 7 runs is added to his name as well.
And now it's Danny Casals. Mariners not done yet. Top of the 4th inning, they lead this game 7-0. First pitch to Casals, fastball. Upstairs and outside on the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Just to recap, started with a double from Rivera, then it's a fielder's choice, so he was thrown out at third base. Runner on first then with 1 out. As the 1-0 pitch is a breaking ball that misses low, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. Then at the top of the order, Tanner Morris flew out to right field, so there was just a runner on first with 2 outs. Single from Ben Norman, made it first and second. An RBI single from Shunk. Again made it first and second and planted a run, and then another RBI single off the bat of Andre Lipsius, scored another run, and then the runners on the corners. So that's the recap of this inning. 2-0 pitch. Fastball misses low and in, and the count 3 balls and no strikes from Smith. .3-0 delivery. Swung on, a high pop-up foul over the Harwich Mariners dugout in the count 3-1. Casals opted to swing on a 3-0 pitch. Looked like it was probably low for ball 4, and we saw this happen earlier versus Orleans when he swung at a 3-0. The next pitch was over the left field fence. 3-1 on, ground ball up the middle for a base hit. It's another RBI single. And the Mariners lead this game 8-0. It's 4 consecutive singles for the Harwich Mariners. First pitch to Gorski is over the head of the catcher Humphreys, and advancing 90 feet are both Lipsius and Casals. So Casals off second, Lipsius off of third, 2 outs. Top of the 4th inning, and the Harwich Mariners are all over the Cotuit Kettleers. And the pitching coach, Jerry Weinstein, out to have a discussion with Smith, and he hasn't necessarily had a trouble with control. It's just pitches left out over the middle of the plate, and it's base hit after base hit after base hit for this Harwich Mariners lineup.
Well, they did a really good job this evening, really driving balls all over, anywhere in the ballpark. And it's interesting too that the 2 managers for Cotuit are very experienced. Weinstein used to be a former head coach at Wareham. He used to be the manager of the AA affiliate of the Rockies, the Hartford Yard Goats, and then was manager of the Team Israel. And Roberts, who is now a consultant in the Cubs organization as well.
It's the first pitch to Gorski, fastball upstairs, and the count 2 balls and no strikes on the right-handed hitter.
And Weinstein, I've seen him, I've been looking over towards the dugout area. He's been calling the game relating to the catcher Humphreys as well. So we said something unique about Harwich, and catchers doing their own calls.
2-0 pitch, swung on, line drive down the left field line for a base hit. Lipsia scores. Rounding third is Casals. He'll score. And into second base with a stand-up double is Matt Gorski. A 2 RBI double, and the Mariners extend their lead to double digits.
And now it seems like everybody's getting in now. That's 4 consecutive hitters who have contributed an RBI now. And now it is 10-0, much more double digits. And they're right back to where they were last game here at Lowell Park, except then they're in the 4th inning. So a lot more could be coming across here if this rate continues.
And the first pitch to Eichhoff, swung on, a line drive into right field for another base hit. Rounding third is Gorski. He'll score. It's 11-0 Mariners in the top of the 4th.
And now the Mariners have officially batted around as Rivera will come back to the plate now here in the 4th inning.
Well, this game has gotten out of hand in a hurry. 3 runs scored by the Mariners in the top of the 1st, 2 more in the top of the 3rd, and they've added a 6th spot in the top of the 4th inning. And this entire rally has occurred with 2 outs, as Gabe Rivera digs in from the right side. First pitch swung on, and a slow chopper over towards short. Salvatore Fields. He'll throw to first, and finally that'll do it for the top half of the 4th inning. But not before the Harwich Mariners played 6 runs and lead this game 11-0. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Welcome back inside Lowell Park. It's all Mariners in the bottom of the 4th inning as they put up a 6th spot. As Ellis digs in from the left side. First pitch from Matheson is outside. Mariners put up a 6th spot in the top of the 4th. They had 2 in the top of the 3rd and 3 in the top of the 1st. 1-0 pitch swung on and missed by Ellis in the count 1-1. It's an 11-0 lead for the Harwich Mariners. 6 consecutive hits in the top of the 4th. As this entire Mariners lineup has chipped in, the 1-1 pitch, fastball upstairs in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike.
And just about every single Mariners hitter contributed that as they batted around. RBIs from Shunk, Lipsius, Casals, Gorski.
And the 1-2 pitch, breaking ball in there for strike 3. Ellis goes down looking, and there's 1 away in the bottom of the 4th inning. Every single Mariners player has reached base today. Morris does not have a hit yet. He reached on a walk. And Driscoll reached on a fielder's choice, although he has not actually reached on a hit or a walk yet. But he did come around and score a run. And the first pitch runs upstairs and inside on Smith. Smith, a right-handed hitter, 0 for 1 on the day. He leads this team in average at .360. 1-0 pitch, cutter misses low and outside, and the count 2 balls and no strikes.
So far, 9 for 25 on the season. Nice Nice start for Smith. We saw something similar with Shunk starting off that good too.
2-0 pitch, cut on, a high pop-up foul. Out of play. Behind home plate. In the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. Base paths empty, 1 out. Bottom of the 4th inning. It's an 11-0 Harwich Mariners lead. 55 pitches thrown from the right-hander Will Matheson, the 2-1 pitch. Fastball swung on, a high pop-up foul again over towards the bleachers. And just over the bleachers, out of play. In the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And now we're going to hear all the storming down the bleachers stairs for kids to go grab that one.
The forecast around here does not specifically show rain according to our weather apps, but some people say it's raining in the surrounding area. Hopefully that will hold off, as the 2-2 pitch is a slider that misses outside. Count full at 3-2. Now the Mariners certainly want to get through 5 innings. That makes it an official game. Now I don't even think it would be close to fair if this game was called beforehand for any reason. The 3-2 pitch runs upstairs and inside on Smith for a walk. Runner on first base and 1 out.
It is Cape Cod. Anything can happen. If it says it's not going to rain, it could rain. If it says it's supposed to rain, it could not rain as well. We've been in both situations before this season. We've had rainouts, and it really rains. So,
while the wind is blowing, the skies are gray.
Very humid as well, which can depict thunderstorms.
First pitch to the 8-hitter Salvatore is a breaking ball. It misses low for ball 1. Now Salvatore appeared to make a big play in the top of the 4th inning when this game was still somewhat close at 5-0. He threw to third base and got the lead runner to make it 1 out. The 1-0 pitch swung on, a line drive to left center field for a base hit. It's going to split the gap. Norman eventually gets over there and fields it. Holding up at third base is Smith. And into second with the stand-up double is Salvatore. It's runners on second and third with 1 out for the Cotuit Kettleers. They're starting to put together a rally in the bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, they're showing some signs of life and some nice resilience here in the 4th inning with, after the single, nice double. So now they have 2 runners in scoring position now. However, today they've left 5 men on base, including a handful in scoring position. So they want to make sure at least get both these guys across, and maybe even more if they can tack on a couple runs here to try to get back in this game. Plenty of baseball to be played. They're only in the 4th inning.
Runners on second and third, 1 out. It's the 9-hitter Humphreys who steps in from the right side. First pitch, fastball on the outside corner, and the count 0-1 on Humphreys. "13 hits for the Harwich Mariners in just 4 innings, 6 hits for Cotuit. The Kettleers have strung together hits. They just haven't been at the right time yet. The 0-1 pitch, fastball upstairs, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. 6 hits is usually enough to at least play a few runs, especially through just 3 1/3 innings of work from the pitcher, but not so tonight for Cotuit, or at least not yet. Base hit could score a couple of runs in the bottom of the 4th inning with 1 out. 1-1 delivery, swung on, a high pop-up into shallow left field. Moving in is Gorski. He makes the catch. Tagging, or at least almost tagging, was Smith as he took a couple of steps and then retreated back to third base. So another big out from Will Matheson as it keeps the runner at third base. And it's a weird situation here for the pitcher, Will Matheson. He's coming into this game, and the Mariners, for all intents and purposes, have put this game away. But he's still got a deal out there, and he still is worried about each and every Cotuit run crossing home plate because he's still responsible for all those runners as the leadoff hitter, Will Robertson, steps in from the left side.
I think if you're a pitcher on the mound, you just think the game is tied and treat every batter the same no matter the score. Keep going at your game plan.
First pitch misses outside for ball 1. 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th inning. Runners on second and third. It's 11-0 in favor of the Harwich Mariners. Mariners scored 3 in the first, 2 in the second, and 6 in the 4th as the 1-0 pitch is a breaking ball that swung on and missed from Robertson. The count 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1 delivery to the lefty is a fastball swung on and missed, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Robertson steps back in from the left side. Second and third, 2 outs. Bottom of the 4th inning. Mariners on top by 11. The 1-2 pitch is swung on, a high fly ball down the right field side. It's tailing and heads out of play. Count remains 1-2. They'll do it again. The 1-2 delivery. Misses just upstairs and inside with a 89-mile-per-hour fastball. The count 2-2. Robertson has a 4-game hit streak going. He singled back in the 3rd as well to extend it to 4 games. A 2-2 pitch swung on, a high pop-up into shallow right field. Rivera moves in and makes the catch for the final out of the inning. So the Cotuit Kettleers strand 2 more runners. At the end of 4 innings of play, it is the Harwich Mariners 11 and the Cotuit Kettleers nothing. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Top of the 5th inning from Lowell Park. It's all Mariners, 11-0. Austin Rooney alongside my broadcasting partner, Thomas Cinzarella. We're glad to have you with us for this evening's matchup. The first pitch to the 9-hitter, Logan Driscoll, is swung on and popped up over towards third base. The third baseman, Smith, gets under it and makes the catch for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, Driscoll trying to be a little aggressive there and swinging the first pitch. Just got a little bit underneath it and popped it up in the infield area. I think it's a little bit better for the pitcher, Ryan Smith. Get a little confidence back on the mound.
Back to the leadoff spot. First pitch to Tanner Morris. Runs upstairs for ball 1. Base path's empty. Top of the 5th inning. 1 out. 11-0 Mariners. 1-0 pitch. Fastball on the outside corner. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike on the leadoff hitter, Tanner Morris. The 1-1 delivery, another fastball in there for strike 2. After the really tough inning for Smith, the 1-2 pitch, breaking ball swung on and missed by Morris. He goes down swinging. He has recovered nicely in the top of the 5th inning, recorded a couple of outs. The 1 inning he allowed 7 hits, 6 earned runs, and not a single walk. It was all the Mariners' bats that took over as it's the two-hitter, Ben Norman, who takes a strike on a breaking ball on the count 0-1. And sometimes when your team is clicking, they are clicking very, very well on all cylinders, and that's sort of what happened in that fourth inning as the 0-1 pitch is swung on and fouled off. It was one guy after the next, 6 consecutive hits for the Harwich Mariners. Norman, Shunk, Lipsius, Casals, Gorski, and Eichhoff all singled. The 0-2 delivery. Fastball misses low, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. The 1-2 offering swung on, a line drive to left field. The left fielder Tolia moves back and makes the out for the final out of the inning. The Mariners go down in order 1, 2, 3 in the top of the 5th. Polar opposite from the top of the 4th. Mariners lead this game 11-0 after 4.5. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Welcome back in the bottom half of the 5th inning. The Harwich Mariners lead this game 11-0 in the bottom half of the 5th inning, and Will Matheson is back out for his 5th inning of work. First pitch to Michael Tolia, misses upstairs and outside for ball 1. Now, Will Matheson is probably looking to get this inning over quickly because there may be impending rain in Cotuit after the game goes 5 full. It is an official game. The 1-0 pitch misses low, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. No rain has fallen yet.
There's a lot of rain coming.
2-0 pitch swung on, a high pop-up into left center field. Left fielder Norman moves over and makes the catch for the first out of the inning. So after after Norman entered the game for Galland. Galland was the center fielder, but Norman ended up moving over to left field, and the right fielder who started the game, Gorski, moved over to center. So that's the defensive change that has occurred. 1 away in the bottom half of the 5th inning. It's all Mariners 11-0. As Dillard digs in from the left side. First pitch, breaking ball on the inside corner for strike 1, and the count no balls and 1 strike. Dillard taps home plate a couple of times. The 0-1 pitch. Off-speed pitch misses outside, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1 offering. Another changeup misses outside, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike on Thomas Dillard. 2, 3, and 4 hitters are due up. The 2-1 pitch. Fastball at the knees, count 2-2. Tolia was the 2-hitter who flew out to left field. Dillard in the left-hander's batter's box now, and it's Wood, the cleanup hitter, on deck. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball misses well upstairs, and the count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. So far, Will Matheson, 4 1/3 innings of work. He's thrown 77 pitches. The 3-2 pitch. Fastball just below the knees for ball 4.
Good eye by Dillard at home plate. It was a close pitch that just missed the bottom part of the zone, but not a bad place if you're Will Matheson. If you want to rather miss low and out of the zone than in the zone, especially the guy like Dillard's pedigree. So Killers maybe work some magic here and get a run across against Matheson, which they haven't been able to do so all evening long.
They've gotten the hits. They have not been able to drive anybody home. As the first pitch is swung on and a high fly ball towards left field. Left fielder Norman moves over, takes a couple steps back to his left and makes the catch for the second out of the inning. 2 outs, runner on first base in the bottom half of the 5th inning. And now it's the 5-hitter, Garrett Wolforth. Runner on first base, 2 outs. Bottom of the 5th inning, Mariners all over the Cotuit Kettleers, 11-0. First pitch, breaking ball at the knees for strike 1.
Wolforth almost hit a home run down the right field line before, just a little bit early on that one, had the power.
80 pitches through his evening is Will Matheson. You have to think this would do it for him. The 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball swung on and missed, and the count 0-2. Generally this year, the Harwich Mariners pitchers have been kept to an 85-pitch pitch count. And they'll let them go over to 93, 95 if necessary in the inning. If they think they can get one more out, they'll let him in. They'll leave him in. That's what happened to Matheson his last time out, but they're not going to put out a pitcher with more than 80 pitches in the inning. To start an inning, that is. The 0-2 pitch swung on and fouled off down the third base line out of play. Wolforth digs back in from the left side. Runner on first base, 2 outs. Matheson gets a sign from Driscoll. The 0-2 pitch swung on, a ground ball over towards second base, takes a bad hop, but Casals has enough time to adjust, fields it, and tosses over to first to end the 5th inning. Mariners still all over the Cotuit Kettleers, 11-0. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Top half of the 6th inning from Lowell Park. Mariners all over the Cotuit Kettleers, 11-0. Leading off for the Mariners is the 3, 4, and 5 hitters, starting with Aaron Shunk. Just to recap tonight's game, how did we get to 11-0? It's first pitch curveball misses low for ball 1. 3 runs came in the first inning. RBI double from Lipsius, and a 2 RBI double from Danny Casals. 1-0 pitch. Swung on and losing the bat in the process is Aaron Shunk. Count 1 ball and 1 strike on the left-handed hitter. And the bat has become lodged in the chain link fence over towards the dugout. You don't see that every day.
I know a couple guys this year have lost the handle.
I don't think they found it in the chain link fence, though.
No, usually it hits across the fence, but in Lowell Park, interesting. Bat gets caught in the fence. So again, not everything you see, not something you see every day, but put a little pine tar in that and hopefully do a little bit better.
Just again, going over how we got here, it was a double from Lipsius in the first inning with an RBI and a 2 RBI double from Casals. That scored 3 runs, and then in the third inning, another RBI double off the bat of Lipsius and an RBI single from Gorski. As the 0-1 pitch misses in the count, 0-1 pitch is in there for strike 2, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. That gave them a 5-0 lead as the 1-2 pitch swung on, a ground ball over towards shortstop, fielded by Salvatore. Throwing over to first base, it's in time, and there's one away.
Smith has looked a lot better since that 6-run 4th inning, and is now retired 4 in a row, dating back to last inning.
In the top of the 4th inning, there were 2 outs and a runner on first base. And Ben Norman singled, then there were runners on first and second. An RBI single from Shunk scored 1. Another RBI single from Lipsius scored another. An RBI single from Casals scored 1 more. Then a 2 RBI double from Gorski. And an RBI single from Eichhoff. And well, after 6 batters and 6 consecutive base hits, the Mariners had thrown 6 runs on the board. First pitch missed to Andre Lipsius. Then the 1-0 pitch was a fastball cut on and missed. And the count even at 1 ball and 1 strike. So that's how the score is 11-0 from Lowell Park. 1-1 pitch. Fastball on the inside corner, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Base path's empty. Top half of the 6th inning. Mariners lead in the hit department 13-6. The 1-2 pitch, off-speed pitch in the dirt. The count 2-2. Well, Lipsius is 3 for 3. His average coming in was .292. Now it's .312. 2-2 pitch, swung on a line drive up the middle for a base hit. Make it hit number 4 on the afternoon from Andre Lipsius. That's the most times he's been on base via a hit this season, although he reached base 6 times back versus Orleans. Although only 2 of those occurred on hits, 2 of them were walks, 2 of them were intentional walks, so a total of 4 walks, 2 regular, 2 intentional.
That's why Andre Lipsius was selected as an all-star this year.
First pitch to Danny Casal, swung on, a chopper back to the pitcher. Smith fields, looks over to second, realizes he doesn't have a play there for Lipsius, and tosses on to first to get the easy out for Danny Casal. So, 2 away in the top half of the 6th inning. Mariners all over the Cotuit Kettleers 11-0, and stepping in is Matt Gorski, whose average, about 2.5 weeks ago was under 200. Well, now it's over 300. He is red hot at the plate. 2 for 3 this evening. Batting average up to .302. First pitch misses low for ball 1 on Matt Gorski. Morris leads the team with a .326 average. Lipsius second at .318 as the 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball swung on and missed, and the count 1-1. And Gorski is third at .302. Shunk's average has gone down a bit, down to .293. 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball misses outside, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. A lot of batting averages going up for the Harwich Mariners. They've had the bats come through a lot more so in the last couple of weeks. 2-1 pitch. Runs upstairs and inside, or more specifically over the last few days, I would say. We've seen the averages really start to tick up. Gorski's averages come up over the last couple of weeks. Eichhoff over the last couple of weeks as well. Lipsius in the middle of a tear right now. 3-1 pitch. Fastball swung on and a foul tip into the mitt of Humphreys. And the count 3 balls and 2 strikes in the right-handed hitter. Runner on second base, that's Lipsius. 2 outs. Top of the 6th inning. Payoff pitch to Gorski. Swung on, a high pop-up foul out of play, and the count remains 3-2. What have you seen, Thomas, out of the game tonight that you've liked from the Harwich Mariners?
Well, the bats and just the approaches at the plate. Some hitters attacking right away when they see a first pitch fastball that's in the zone, and some guys will take a couple pitches before they swing at one.
3-2 pitch, misses a couple feet before home plate. Only threw that one about 57 feet. And easily drawing the walk is Matt Gorski, on base for his third time tonight. Runners on first and second, 2 outs. And it's Nate Eichhoff, left-handed hitter, who steps into the batter's box. First pitch to Eichhoff, swung on and fouled off out of play. Count 0-1. Some of the best performances tonight. Lipsius, 4 for 4, 3 runs, 3 RBIs. Casals, 2 for 4, 1 run, 3 RBIs. Gorski, 2 for 3, 1 run, 3 RBIs. And the 0-1 pitch swung on, and a ground ball over towards the first baseman, Dillard. He fields and steps on the bag. That will do it for the top half of the 6th inning. Mariners strand 2 runners and lead this game 11-0. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Bottom half of the 6th inning from Lowell Park. Mariners lead this game 11-0. New pitcher for the Harwich Mariners taking over for Will Mathewson. We'll talk about his night in just a moment. But coming in is Gage Gillian, making his first appearance on Cape Cod. He's out of Walters State Community College. Walters State, he had an outstanding season. ERA under 2. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, look at his stats right now. 25 appearances, all the bullpen, 5-1 record, 4 saves, 44 innings pitched with a .164 ERA and 71 strikeouts and 44 innings pitched. So stats looking good. We'll see if he can continue that trend here on the Cape, making his Mariners debut.
Average of 15 strikeouts per 9, which is really, really good. 71 Ks in the 44 innings of work as to it as Duke Ellis stepping in from the left side. And it's a perfect time for Gillian, played at community college, to adjust to Cape Cod as the first pitch is a fastball upstairs and outside for ball 1. Again, the game is, for all intents and purposes, out of reach for Cotuit, as they have a newly added Gage Gillian coming into tonight's game. 1-0 pitch, fastball outside, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. Fastball in the upper 80s, and I said we'd get into the starter. That's Will Matheson. And the 2-0 pitch. Fastball upstairs, count 3 balls and no strikes. And Matheson had an outstanding season, or not, excuse me, season, outstanding night. 5 innings of work, no earned runs. The hits and walks were a little high, 6 hits over 5 innings along with 2 walks, so a total of 8 base runners. But He worked himself out of every jam he found himself in. It was really impressive tonight from Matheson as a 3-0 pitch is a fastball outside, a 4-pitch walk issued to Duke Ellis from Gage Gillian.
Yeah, Gillian just a little literally jitters on the mound for his first appearance on the Cape so far, and a guy that's not used to maybe pitching in this, maybe this front of this many people, or maybe in this type of situation with as many good hitters and players on the Cape. As Coach Anger walks out to talk to him, gets a few words, and went back towards the dugout now.
Driscoll, Gillian, and Engler all meeting at the mound. Not so much strategy. I think it's just, you know, he's got that 4-pitch walk. They want to say, okay, you know, go back out there and throw some strikes.
And just want him to compete out there every batter he faces.
Mariners' bats exploded in the early going and have given him a very healthy cushion. First pitch, breaking ball upstairs for ball 1. And I think some of it has to do with, you know, he's got this large lead, and he's not worried about losing the game. But I think the worry might somewhat come from, you know, playing against some of the top D1 players in the country. 1-0 delivery. Breaking ball on the outside corner for strike 1. So after throwing the first 5 for balls, he registers a strike against Smith. Runner on first base, no outs. Bottom of the 6th inning. 1-1 delivery. Fastball runs up and in on Smith, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. It's all about confidence. We talk about the mentality for hitters quite frequently. And the same goes for pitchers. When you're in a hot streak as a hitter, you're seeing that ball really well. 2-1 pitch misses low, count 3-1. We saw it with guys like Eichhoff throughout this season. They've been really hot, really cold, and they're really hot. They're hitting everything. And it's because they've got that mentality and the confidence when you come into the plate. And it's a similar thing when you're a pitcher. If you're having trouble finding the zone, a lot of it comes down to the mental aspect. You're just struggling to throw strikes. 3-1 pitch. Fastball upstairs, and it's another walk issued by Gage Gillian.
That's definitely true. You know, a guy can collect a couple 4-hit games, and then all of a sudden he can go 0 for 8 and loses all that confidence that he had, and it seems like he has to start from scratch all over again. And I think it was big for Gillian to fire a strike in there, but walked the first 2 hitters. We'll see if he tries to settle down a bit. At least face 2 hitters now. It's recorded now, but let's see what he goes on from here.
Not walk all that many players back in college. He had 14 walks in 44 innings. First pitch fastball upstairs and outside for ball 1. Now back at Walters State, you don't see the scouts there. They don't have the big names. You don't see guys who are going to be going in the first round of next year's draft. And that's why, you know, you come on to Cape Cod and it's just a little bit of a different situation. The nerves are there. The 1-0 pitch, breaking ball well upstairs in the count 2-0. And I think Gillian is just really having some trouble. It's 10 balls compared to 1 strike for the right-hander. There's the fastball he's looking for, a 2-0 pitch on the outside corner for strike 1, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. And sometimes it's all it takes. Strike with the fastball, and you know you want to throw the fastball more than you throw the off speed. And when your only strike came with the off speed stuff, you feel more inclined to go back to a 2-0 pitch. Fastball runs upstairs, and the count 3-1. So the control issues have continued for Gillian. His first Cape League outing. And he'll get more of these appearances. He'll get more of these chances. Even if tonight, you know, is not going to be his night. 3-1 pitch outside. 3 consecutive walks for Gillian. I think it might just be take a deep breath, you know, get through this. No outs, bases loaded for Katuitt. They've all reached via the walk.
It's a dangerous spot as well, even though it is a 6th inning. Katuitt trails by 4 runs, but if they're able to put something together and cut the lead, to almost in half. They can get 4 or 5 runs out of this. It's at least something, and it kind of may shift the momentum a bit because the Mariners haven't scored since the 6th or 4th. So
Mariners had a couple base runners in the 6th. I wouldn't say that their bats are done, but I would not expect their bats to need to hit the rest of the night. Just 4 more innings for the pitching staff remaining, and even if they are to plate 3 or 4 runs here, it shouldn't be the biggest issue in the world for the Mariners. First pitch is a fastball in there for strike 1 on the 9-hitter, Zach Humphreys. Humphreys has no hits in 4 of his last 5 games. Only game he did have a hit, though, he was quite good. He was 3 for 4 with a home run. 0 for 2 tonight, though, so it seems like he's either been feast or famine, and tonight he's not had the bat going. 0-1 pitch, breaking ball in there for strike 2, and now Gillian is ahead in the count 0-2. You'd like to see if he's going to go and attack the zone a little more or try to get a strikeout, goes with something outside the zone. The 0-2 pitch, breaking ball misses low, and the count 1-2. Bases are loaded for the Cotuit Kettleers in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Mariners lead this game 11-0. As the pitcher, Gillian, offers the 1-2 pitch, and it's a swung on and line into left field for a base hit. Kettleers go station to station as 1 run comes in and scores. And the score is now 11-1 in the bottom of the 6th inning. Bases are loaded as Zach Humphreys gets his first hit of the day and drives in a run. Still no outs in the bottom of the 6th. Bases remain loaded as the leadoff hitter, Will Robertson, steps in. First pitch, fastball swung on, a high fly ball into right center field. The center fielder Gorski moves over. Almost tagging and trying to come around was Brady Smith, but he pulled on the brakes after taking a couple of steps and retreats over to third base. So bottom of the 6th inning, bases loaded, 1 out. And it's a big first out for Gillian. Now you have those early cave jitters. I think the scouts understand that too, coming in from Walters State Community College, and sometimes you just don't have your control right off the bat, and that seems to be the story of what Gillian has had this evening, and he's started to throw some strikes since then. 5 out of the last 7 pitches have been for strikes. First pitch, off-speed pitch, misses upstairs and outside to Tolia. Well, there are some very talented hitters in this lineup for Cotuit. They haven't been hitting all that well, not only tonight, but recently. There's only 1 hitter over 300, and it's a very small sample size with just 25 at-bats. The 1-0 delivery to Tolia, fastball swung on and missed, and the count even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Humphreys leads off first, Salvatore off second, Smith off of third. The 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball runs inside, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike on the second hitter in the lineup, Michael Tolia.
Again, the Killers can make some noise here, especially with the hard order coming back around the top of the order with Tolia, the 2-hitter, delivered on deck.
They can put together a couple of doubles, and maybe they find themselves in a situation where in the latter innings, might be able to put together a bit of a rally, but the 2-1 pitch misses outside, count 3-1, but it's going to take a lot to get themselves back into this game. The Mariners, if things don't work out with Gillian in this inning, they can go to a relief pitcher, and even if they get 4 or 5 runs in this inning, the Mariners still have a commanding lead heading into the 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Except the Oakland A's blew an 11-0 lead, and they tried to win 20 in a row.
3-1 pitch. Breaking ball in there for strike 2, and the count runs full at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
It is the Cape League as well. I've seen crazier things than an 11-run lead gone away.
3-2 pitch, swung on, high fly ball into shallow right center field. Rivera on the run, he makes the catch, and unable to tag was Smith over at third base. So a couple of big outs from Gage Gillian.
He was able to use a couple fly balls, and again, they weren't deep enough to score a run. So give Gillian a benefit there, able to get 2 fly balls, and again, a runner's not able to advance, so good job by him. Now there are 2 outs here, he's just 1 out away from getting out of this jam.
It would have been a very, very good performance from Gillian after he starts so in such trouble, threw so many balls to lead off this game, to find his control. It's the first pitch is a breaking ball, low for ball 1. And to actually get back into this game and record a couple of flyouts and work himself out of a jam with the bases loaded and no outs would be very admirable. Dillard from the left side, the 1-0 pitch. Fastball on the outside corner for strike 1, and the count even at 1 ball and 1 strike to the left-handed hitter Dillard. Smith off of third, Salvatore off second, and Humphreys off of first. 2 outs, the 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball in the dirt. Count 2-1. Dillard, again, has extended his hit streak to 10 games. But in each of those 10 games, he has exactly 1 hit. Let's see if he will change that tonight or this very weird streak of exactly 1 hit in 10 consecutive games continues. The 2-1 pitch to Dillard. Breaking ball on the outside corner, and the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. In tonight's game, Mariners had fallen in 3 consecutive, especially with the tough loss to Wareham. This is a big game for the Mariners. 2-2 pitch, breaking ball. Oh, looks awfully close, but doesn't get the benefit of the doubt. And the count runs full at 3-2.
Big for the Kettleers as well. They're just 1 point in front of Bourne. Kettleers in 4th place right now, just 1 point ahead of Bourne, and they're awfully close to Falmouth as well in 3rd place. We're only 1 point away from, 1 or 2 points away from them as well.
Payoff pitch runs low in the dirt, and Gage Gillian will walk in a run. So the score now 11-2 in the bottom of the 6th inning. And now it's the cleanup hitter, Corey Wood. And a pitching change from Lowell Park as Coach Steve Engler walks out to the mound. Gillian struggled with his control this evening, 31 pitches, 11 strikes, 20 balls. He fought through it. It was not his best stuff for sure. And Coach Engler makes the call to the bullpen. Bases loaded, 2 outs, bottom of the 6th inning, 11-2 Mariners. When we come back, we'll sort out the details. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Welcome back. In the bottom of the sixth inning, 2 outs, bases loaded. Joe Lasorsa enters the game, left-hander. Misses outside for ball 1 against Corey Wood, who was the cleanup hitter in the order for the Cotuit Kettleers. The 1-0 pitch to Wood, swung on and fouled it off his foot. Mariners all over the Cotuit Kettleers in tonight's ball game. They scored 3 runs in the top of the first, 2 more in the top of the third, followed up with a 6 spot in the top of the 4th inning. They led 11-0. Gage Gillian ran into some trouble in the bottom of the 6th inning. Walked 4 batters as the 1-1 pitch misses outside. Also allowed a base hit. Ended up bringing in 2 runs. Two-one offering to Wood. Fastball misses outside, and the count runs to 3-1. And you know, after Lasorsa comes into the game, he has to get warmed himself. Facing his first batter in a few days. So how is that going to affect him? He may walk a batter before he's able to get into his groove. 3-1 pitch, swung on and missed. That ball may have been a little outside. The count runs full at 3-2. So interesting decision from Corey Wood.
I saw a pitch he liked, just trying to put it in play. Fortunately, just couldn't make contact. The fastball elevated up in the zone.
Lasorsa gets a sign from Driscoll. The 3-2 pitch. Fastball misses up and outside, and Lasorsa walks in a run. Score is now 11-3 in the bottom of the 6th inning. And while these Cotuit Kettleers coming around and scoring a few runs in the bottom of the 6th inning, you know, it's going to be very tough for them to continue to cut into this lead. Even if they make it 11-5 after the inning, they're still going to be down 6 runs going into the bottom of the 7th.
Well, that is true, but I've always been told if you can put a 6 spot up on the board, the other team can as well.
And the first pitch to Garrett Wolford is fouled off, and the count, no balls and 1 strike on the right-handed hitter. Mariners were up 10-2 in a game last season, and they ended up falling in that game 11-10. So it's not, it has happened before.
So I said it's the Cape League, anything can happen.
You don't want to revisit those memories, though. You can keep those out of the memory bank.
And last year we saw 4-seed Brewster was playing 500 balls, win the Cape League championship last year.
The 1-1 delivery. Swung on and shot fouled on the third baseline, and now Lasorsa has a couple of strikes to work with. He's ahead in the count 1-2 on Wolforth. Bases are loaded. 2 outs. Bottom of the 6th inning, it's 11-3 Mariners. Cotuit has managed to put up 3 runs. The 1-2 pitch swung on and fouled off to the backstop. Count remains 1-2. Wood is the 8th batter to come to the plate for the Cotuit Kettleers. Excuse me, Wolforth is the 9th hitter. It batted around. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball cut on and missed, struck him out. That will do it for the bottom of the 6th inning. But not before the Cotuit Kettleers score 3 runs on 5 walks and 1 hit. They leave 3 runners on base. At the end of 6, it's Mariners 11. Cotuit 3, you're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod with with 2 acute care hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare. Expert physicians, quality healthcare, superior care.
And welcome back inside Lowell Park for the latter half of this game here in the top of the 7th. 11-3 lead in favor of the Harwich Mariners. Katuda able to scratch across 3 runs in the last inning, but clouds are still in the sky. Obviously no lights here at Lowell Park, so light will be a factor here. It is 7:04 currently, so they only maybe have 45 minutes to an hour of light as leading things off as Gabe Rivera, first pitch curveball, is at the letters for strike one from Jarvis.
According to my weather app, the sunset will occur at 8:11. Now, we'll start to get a little darker before that, and the clouds you mentioned may play an additional factor, but I think they'll be able to get this one in, or they have a shot at least.
Yeah, one pitch has popped up in the infield. Coming in is the first baseman, Dylan, will move in towards in parallel with the pitcher's mound. Will make the catch for out number 1, so 1 up, 1 down so far here in the top of the 7th inning. It was 8-9-1, 2 up for the Mariners, and Rivera's just retired. So now is the number 9 hitter, Logan Driscoll, set to do work from the left side. It's been a hit barrage so far for the Mariners as the first pitch runs up and away for ball 1 on Driscoll. Driscoll so far has lined out, reached a fielder's choice and scored and popped out. 1-0 to Driscoll, bounces in the dirt for ball 2 from Jarvis. Jarvis is making his 7th appearance. He's actually made a handful of starts as well. 3 starts on the year, 15 2/3 innings pitched, 13 strikeouts and 10 walks, an ERA of 5.74 for the righty out of Duke as the 2-0 pitch is swung on. Another pop-up towards the left side of the infield. The third baseman, Smith, coming in. He was in foul ground and came back all the way to fair to catch that one. The wind playing a factor maybe there. Always able to secure that one for out number 2. So quickly 2 outs here in the top of the 7th inning. 11-3 Mariners lead. Back-to-back pop-outs induced by Jarvis.
And Jarvis at Duke, very competitive program down there in North Carolina, playing in the ACC.
First pitch misses for ball 1 to another ACC guy, Tanner Morrison. I believe this year there's something historical about the Duke program. I forgot what it was. As a check swing by Morris is grounded back to the pitcher, throw back on to first, and Morris is retired for out number 3. So 1-2-3 inning worked for the Kettleers. As 11-3 after 6.5. Listen to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
Radio.
And welcome back inside Lowell Park for the bottom half of the 7th inning. Joe LaSorsa back on the hill for the Mariners, facing off against the 6, 7, 8 hitters for the Kettlers. 11-3 lead in favor of the Mariners. First pitch, big cut on, a miss by Ellis for strike one. So as I said before, the clouds really starting to play a factor in the lightness here. Crowd has decimated a bit from earlier in the game as the 0-1 pitch runs up and inside for ball one. I know if Peter Gamins was here, the crowd might be a little more swarming, but he's down in D.C. for the All-Star game. As the 1-1 pitch just misses the inside corner for ball two. Count is 2 balls and 1 strike.
All-Star game happening at 8 p.m. this evening. The coverage starts at 7:30. This game's still going on at 8. You can stick right here. You can watch the All-Star game a little later.
As a 2-1 pitch comes on and hits the leadoff hitter Ellis, so he's on base.
They referenced a Duke historic season this year. They won 15 out of 16 games at one point. They also had their first ever winning record in ACC play. Of course, the ACC is so competitive.
They're not a team that, is used to making the tournament every year. At basketball they are, but not really in some of the other sports such as football or baseball.
Football's coming around. Last decade or so, they've been relevant.
David Cutcliffe doing a good job.
Outstanding job.
And then a couple good players, a couple Cape League guys on the Duke team as well. So Bryce Chalmers, who's pitching for the Catuit. But also last year, Griffin Conan, who was player of the year here on the Cape League, was playing for the Kettleers and was just drafted in the second round by the Toronto Blue Jays. And then Jimmy Herron, the center fielder out of Orleans last year, who was also drafted. So they had a pretty solid outfield out there. Couple guys patrolling the green grasses. So with after the hit by pitch, Ellis is over at first getting checked on by the staff, but he's okay. Will stay in the game. Lefty righty matchup as the first pitch is popped up and out of play to the third baseman Brady Smith for strike one. Mentioned before, Peter Gammons, him and Jeff Bagel were spotted here earlier in the season at Lowell Park on the opening game, and I believe it's his favorite ballpark to come to is Catuit. It's a nice job. People say it's almost a Field of Dreams rendition as a 1 pitch misses down inside for ball one. Count as 1 ball and 1 strike.
The only thing that would probably make it a little nicer would be the lights, but
true.
It's I don't know if it's something they decided to do. They don't want the lights or what it is. It's of course very costly as well.
1-1 pitch is fouled out, back and out of play for strike two. Count as 1 ball and 2 strikes. And earlier this week as well, speaking about lights, this is about Chase Sully, who played back at Brewster. It was an interesting story of him when he played on the Cape League for Brewster, where he forgot to use pregame. He got to the field extra early. I'll continue it after his pitch. The 1-2 is laced out towards shortstop, fielded by Morris. Back throw, back on a second. Quisell's back on a first. Is in time. 6-4-3 double play. Pretty play from Morris to Casals to Lipsius. Casals came all the way across the bag and threw off his back foot to get Brady Smith, and there are quickly 2 outs here in the bottom half of the 7th. But going back to that story, so Chase Sully got to the field as normally most players do in the Cape, and then he forgot to use pregame meal like most players do. So then he had the ball boy. First pitch just fell out of play. He had the ball boy go to the concession stand and give him a big cup of chowder. So he was the 3-hole hitter that night. So the first 2 guys were retired in like 4, 5, 6 pitches. So he's coming to plate. He has to drink or eat the whole chowder in all one thing. Goes up and then hits a home run. So he ate the whole thing of chowder and bread and everything within 2-3 minutes, like maybe a minute or 2, and goes down and hits a home run. That's one heck of a story, and those are the type of stories you can hear all around the Cape from guys who played here. Is 0-2 pitch now to Salvatore is lined out right at the second baseman. Casals, the one-hopper, throw back on at first is in time. So looks like the game is going to end here after the 7th inning due to darkness. So it looks like the Harwich Mariners will win this game by a score of 11-3 over the Catuit Kettleers, and it was an offensive barrage right from the first inning. The Mariners scored 3 runs in the first, tacked on 2 more in the third, and 6 more in the 4th inning. They end up with 11 runs on 14 hits and 1 error. Kettleers 3 runs on 7 hits and no errors. So Austin, what do you think of the bats and the pitching so far this evening?
Well, tonight it was a great performance from the Harwich Mariners bats. They're going to get the same 14 hits they got last time here at Lowell Park, 11 runs as opposed to 10 last time, but it all comes early for the Harwich Mariners. They put up 3 runs in the first inning, as you mentioned, 2 in the third and 6 in the fourth. And I think the player of the game, without a doubt, is going to be Andre Lipsius. There were some other guys who had big games. Of course, guys like Matt Gorski was, I think he was 2 for 3, and Casals 2 for 4, both of them with 3 RBIs each also. But when Lipsius goes 4 for 4, 3 RBIs, a run scored, he did it all tonight. There was nothing that you could say, well, what did he not do? He just didn't hit a home run, but did everything short of that. And, this is one of the best games from Lipsius this season. I think the only other game that would rival this would be the game versus Orleans when he got on base 6 times. So, again, an outstanding game from Andre Lipsius. He now has the second best average on this team. He's looking great at the plate, and he's really developed into that cleanup hitter. And I think not only that, then moving back in the order to where Gorski is at 302 right now, he's somebody who can be a 2-hitter, a 5-hitter, a 6-hitter, no matter where the Mariners need him. And it's also encouraging to see guys like Norman get a couple hits, and Gabe Rivera had a big double. And Eichhoff 1 for 4 today with an RBI. He's producing. So the Mariners' bats were there tonight on basically all cylinders. There only 2 guys didn't get a hit, a 9-hitter and the 1-hitter, Tanner Morris and Logan Driscoll. Aside from the 2 of them, everybody got a hit, and everybody was looking really good at the plate. We'll have to see how Chris Galland is. He had 2 hits tonight as well. So, again, the Harwich Mariners bats are there. We'll have to see if they can continue to hit in the game tomorrow versus these same Cotuit Kettleers.
Yeah, we talk about the bottom of the order guys really starting to come around. The guys like Logan Driscoll, even though he didn't record it tonight, he did a couple hard-hit balls right at the second baseman. Corey Wood a couple times. And then we talk about Nate Eichhoff, a guy that went 1 for 4 this inning with an RBI, had a nice RBI single. And then Casals, we see those guys in the middle of the order really produce. And we know the guys in the front can produce. It's just a matter of the guys in the middle to the back end can do the same. And as of late, they have. And then when they do that, the Mariners end up winning that game. It's just a matter of the fact if the middle and the bottom guys don't produce as they could be, then we see the Mariners struggle at some points during the season.
And not only that, the runners with scoring position, hitting with runners in scoring position, that is, was really strong tonight for the Harwich Mariners. So, again, it was single after single after single in that top of the 4th inning. And then in the 3rd inning, and then runner on second base, an RBI double from Lipsius, and then an RBI single from Gorski. Again, a couple more hits there, and then back in the 1st inning, the runners on second and third. Casals drives in 2 runs. So again, this is the sort of hitting with runners in scoring position we've been talking about all season long, and it comes together in a big way tonight for the Harwich Mariners to get the win. Now, last thing I'd like to talk about would be the pitching tonight for the Harwich Mariners. Now, starting with the starter, Will Mathewson, he goes 5 innings of work, does not allow a single run, and he ran himself into some jams, Thomas, but I thought he was able to work out of them, and he looked quite good tonight.
I know it's another. I think there's a 3rd. I believe now we're keeping a track of total. I think it's 3 quality starts in a row he had dating back to the Chatham. Took the no decision against Whitey's last time out, and now today, where he will pick up the win since he went 5 innings, I believe. So he will pick up the win, especially with a 7-inning game. So he did a really good job of this evening keeping these batters off balance. Again, he did get into some jams, but was able to work his way off them. Some of it could be also the Kettleers' part as well at the plate, but the Kettleers left a ton of guys on base. Just looking back through the first 5 innings, there are 7 guys left on base for the Kettleers, which is a good job, well done by Will Masson. And going back to the offensive part for the Mariners, only 5 guys left on base this evening, which is bound to happen when you have as many runs and hits as they did. But so far, so good. We'll see if the Mariners can try to continue this trend into tomorrow. We're back at home. We have a 3-game homestand where they will face, like you said before, the San Exact Cotuit Kettleers. They try to win back-to-back games, as Orleans is right on the back heel of the Mariners, only 2 points ahead of Orleans. And they're only 5 points behind Chatham. So, again, the playoff race is really starting to heat up in the Cape League. As we'll go a little scoreboard checking around the league to give you some updates of what?
And tonight's games, the Hyannis Harbor Hawks lead the Bourne Braves 4-3. It's just the top of the third inning over there. Game delayed due to rain. Falmouth and Wareham are knotted up at 3-3. And then some Eastern Division scores. This is what you've been waiting for. Brewster over the Anglers 2-0. And then another live game just getting underway. YD and Orleans are scoreless in the top of the first inning.
So again, a couple great games to be played. We'll see how the results end. We'll update you guys tomorrow, right before the game. Remember, don't forget to tune in at first pitch at 6:30. Pregame show starts at 6:15.
Mariners Minute posted beforehand.
Mariners Minute will be posted before the game. So again, final score 11-3. Harwich Mariners defeat the Cotuit Kettleers. And that'll do it from Lowell Park as we visit here for the last time this season. Second to last Western Conference game. So from Thomas and Zarella, from my broadcasting partner Austin Rooney, we say so long. We'll see you tomorrow on the call. First pitch at 6:30.